Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first Stars Not Scars show. This is in honor of our survivors who've not only been treated but have also beaten cancer and have done something pretty amazing with their lives. So, our guest for today, and I'd love to introduce her, is Ms. Ruby Aluwalia. She's an Indian Railways Accounts Service Officer of the 1986 batch, and she's not only recognized for the extensive work she's done in public-private partnership, but also through the work that she's currently doing for cancer patients through her foundation, Sanjeevani Life Beyond Cancer. So the entire thrust of today's program is on survivorship. We all know that cancer is very, very common in India today. A lot of our loved ones, near and dear ones, and friends that we know are struggling with this disease. But what happens to them after treatment? And how important is it for them to deal with survivorship and deal with the issues that they may face afterwards? A little bit more about Ruby. She was diagnosed with stage 3 triple negative breast cancer way back in 2009. And she set up Sanjeevani Foundation in 2012. And her aim was to make the journey of cancer patients, especially those who are underprivileged and their families, less strenuous, and enable them to complete their treatment and live as productive members of society. Ruby is a cancer survivor herself. She knows the pain she's gone through and she has emerged victorious. And she always wanted to help patients gain access to the right treatments and the right nutrition. So we'll talk a little bit to Ruby about her experiences and how she coped, what happened to her afterwards, and what really gave her the resolve to start a foundation like Sanjeevani. So Ruby, welcome to our show for today. And it's really
Thank you
wonderful
so
to have
much.
you here.
Thank you.
Ruby has made time for us all the way from Goa, and I'm really happy about that. And I'm going to take her a few years back, not a few, actually, a few years back.
Right.
Ruby, what happened in 2009 and how did this diagnosis come about? And what were your first reactions to the diagnosis that you got?
So, thank you so much, Shona, for agreeing to interact with me, because who better who can appreciate the whatever you go through in this journey of cancer. So just coming to your question, in 2009, as you have just introduced, I'm from the Indian Civil Services, and I was posted in Mumbai. And I have been very fitness conscious, and I thought I was eating right, and everything was going on well. And suddenly I started feeling some pain in my shoulder,
Right.
which went on for a very long time, actually. And there was a lady who used to massage my children, actually, and she came, and I told her to massage my shoulder, and she told me she would like to take a pull, from the front. And that is when she felt the,
My goodness. Lump.
the lump over here. And she took my hand, and she kind of made me feel this. And I had never gotten mammography done before that. And I was just not aware of anything
Yeah.
regarding cancer and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said, I think you've got cancer. I said, what are you saying? So she said, you feel this. So I said, it could be just a swelling and some stupid thing I said, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So after she left, I thought it is a good idea to see a doctor. And I
Right.
went to a gynecologist, and she
Right.
felt the thing. And
Right.
she said, you must get a mammography done. So I did get a mammography done, where the lump, of course, was very, very obvious because it was pretty big. But they
How,
told me that
how old? I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ruby. How old were you at this point?
I was 45.
Oh dear. So
I
not
was
that old at
45.
all. And one really doesn't think of cancer at
He,
that point. Yeah.
at all. I
Yeah.
never thought. And but after the mammography, I was told that there is a lump, but it is benign.
Oh,
So I said,
oh,
yeah, okay, so fine. So I came back home, but I still gave a call to an oncologist friend. He's an
huh.
oncologist, he's in radiation, Dr. Rajiv Sareen,
Yes,
and very good friend of mine. And I gave him a call and I told him, there is like this, but in the mammography, they say it is benign.
benign. Hmm.
Huh. He said, whatever it is, just get up and come here. And I went to Tata Hospital. Dr. Vani Parmar did my FNAC, and again, it came to be benign. Dr. Rajiv still insisted that whatever it is, it must come out of your body. There is no need to keep it inside. And then that is how, there was a local anesthesia, and the lump had to be taken out for
Removed.
the
All right.
biopsy.
Okay.
Yeah. And in the cross section, it came that it was malignant, and I was in stage 3. And then I went through a surgery, and I had 16 nodes which were infected. And
Whoa. Whoa.
yeah. So initially, they tried a lumpectomy in the
Yes.
first surgery,
Yes.
and then they found positive margins, and after that I had to go through a mastectomy. So that is how my journey of cancer started. And you were asking me as to what was my first reaction. So
Yeah, because
initially,
this is crazy. You go from a massage wali to a benign lump on the mammo and end up having a mastectomy. So
yeah,
that's quite a journey. My
it
goodness.
was, and mastectomy was something which was very difficult for me to understand, accept.
Sure.
And
Sure.
I remember Dr. Badwe, he made me sit in front of him, and he gave me good half an hour of his valuable time, and he told me how important it is for me. But let me tell you, I got a spine chill, when this mastectomy thing.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So it was not so much about whether I'll have my life or no. It was more about whether I will have my breast or no at that
Yeah.
point of time. And gradually, I accepted this.
Yeah. Oh,
So gradually, I accepted this, and the journey became much more enriching, I would say, after this. Because then, my whole quest became as to why this experience has come into my life. What is it, it wants to teach me? And I don't want to let go of, this kind of phenomenal experience, understanding why it came in my life.
Or learning something from it.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
learning something.
Yeah.
So I can't sleepwalk the experience.
Yes, of course not.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all my energies, all my focus got onto this, as to let me figure out why this experience is there and what is happening inside my body. Let me interact with my body,
Yeah.
understand.
Become more aware.
Yes. So
Wow,
that is how my
that is
journey.
amazing. And from what I read, it was a triple negative tumor, which
Yeah.
means you must have had quite a bit of chemotherapy after that. So
Yes.
how was that experience?
So, chemotherapy experience, I went through my first chemotherapy with a lot of, initially there was a lot of resistance. I didn't want to go through
नहीं चाहिए,
chemotherapy.
नहीं चाहिए. Yes.
बिल्कुल नहीं चाहिए,
Yes.
for
Yes.
so many reasons. One of them, you get bored. And as soon as baldness comes, it kind of separates you from everybody around us.
Yes, of course.
Around yourself. Yeah. So
Ah.
that was one reason. And of course, the other things that I had heard about chemotherapy.
Yes.
And for 1 month, I kept on coming up with excuses why I don't want
नहीं
to
चाहिए.
go
Yes,
through it.
of course. Of course.
And Dr. Rajiv was the one who was, and Dr. Vani as well, who were trying to tell me how important it is, because it had become metastatic. One sudden day, because of a particular experience which I had, which was extremely spiritual, I can say, I just understood that I have to go through this experience of chemotherapy. And it is not because it will cure me or not cure me, but because I have to experience that low in life for some reason, to understand something from, to learn something from. And I immediately after that, I told both Rajiv and Vani that yes, I want to
You
go
were
through
ready.
chemotherapy.
And
I
in,
was ready.
and in 2009, if I can recollect, when we practiced, we didn't have the kind of drugs and supportive care that we have today. So you
Yes,
must have certainly faced a lot of nausea and
absolute.
low blood counts, and
Yes,
lost your hair,
yes.
which I must say is absolutely beautiful now. So obviously there is a reason for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's great.
today we have scalp cooling machines, Ruby, and
Yes,
patients can retain almost 80% of their hair. They use it.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
I have a lot of women asking for it, demanding it. And like you said, you know, it's so easy for the doctor to sit across a patient like you and say, you need a mastectomy, not understanding that it's a part of your body. It's like
absolutely.
saying that I have to get rid of my finger or my hand or my body part.
Yeah,
Why should it be less important for a woman, right?
yeah, yeah,
So I do get even elderly women who I say, there is a chance there may be and they say, why, doctor? I don't care, I'm old, but I want to preserve my body part. It's
yeah,
important. I need to
yeah,
feel whole. So is that
yeah.
the feeling that you had when this happened?
Yeah, absolutely. So you don't, as a woman, you don't see your breast as one of your body parts only.
Hmm.
So Shona, it's not my finger and it's not my leg. It's my femininity. It's
Of
my
course.
identity.
Of
It is
course, of
like
course. Yes,
so
yes,
much more.
yes,
And it was extremely difficult for me
yes,
initially till the time I made peace with it.
yes.
And of course, I did make peace with it before I went through the mastectomy.
Mm, mm.
I did. But yeah, initially, it
Yes,
was a
of course,
blowout
of
totally for
course.
me.
And was this
Yes.
chemo very lengthy that you had for 6 months of
Yeah.
chemotherapy?
Yes. So
Okay,
each chemo would go on for 10 to 12 hours,
right,
actually.
right.
And so when I went through the first chemo, it was after it finished, I felt as if I can't live with it. I'm just not. It
Yeah,
was just too much of agony which
yeah,
was there. So I came back home, and I was not able to deal with my physical and my psychological pain which came with it. And I thought there has to be a way that I need to, figure out
right.
to deal with it better.
Yes.
And I have been painting Shoma, and I went to the store and I picked up a canvas and I painted whatever I was feeling.
Feeling,
And
sure.
yeah, and when I saw that painting, there was so much of pain in that painting that I thought, oh my God, what is like happening? Why
Yeah,
so
yeah. Am I
much of
feeling all
pain?
this?
Yeah, why am I feeling like that? So it took me like 10 days, and I kept that canvas in front of me. And if you allow me 2 minutes, I want to tell you as to what happened on the
Sure,
canvas. Is
sure.
that okay? All
That's
right.
okay.
All right, great. So I saw all this pain on the canvas, and I had gone to the Tata hospital, and Dr. Rajiv I met, and he said he's going to the pediatric ward for some round or something, and he said, "You come along." I went there and I saw like a small little girl, like not even 2 years, sitting on the bed and like howling and crying. So I asked Rajiv, what has happened to this baby? Why is she like howling like this? So he said, she's got a tumor in her brain and
Oh dear.
chemotherapy. As a side effect, she has lost vision in both her eyes. And she's not
Oh,
able to figure out as to what is happening. And she's howling. I said, like, okay. And then there was a young mother who came, who picked up the baby, and she started walking. And I asked this lady, oh, you are the mother. She said, yeah, I'm the mother. And when this was diagnosed to my baby, my husband came and dropped both of us in the hospital and left us here and went for good.
oh
And
dear.
so I must have made some kind of a face. And she said, you know, this was very phenomenal. She said, but I have forgiven him because it was taking a lot of my energy, the anger, the disgust. And right now, I want to focus all my energies on the
Oh
daughter.
my, amazing.
And in the meantime, a 7, 8 year old girl came running with 2, 3 files with her. And she held the mother's hand and started walking. I just assumed that she's the elder girl of the family. So I said, oh, you are the, elder girl of the family. She said, no, I'm also a patient here, but I help this auntie every day to take the baby for the tests and all that. And I carry her files. This experience was so extraordinary for me that I came back. I learned from the baby, the mother, the other 8 year old girl, and I saw my canvas. And, I'll show you that painting sometime. And I made a butterfly on that.
How
And
lovely.
yeah,
So, so
so
that, so there was a purpose for Dr. Rajiv taking you there, and you got the message that you needed to, which is hope is so important, and positivity is so important when you're going through
right,
these treatments. So, to all
right.
our people who are watching there on live with us, Ruby, any messages for those who are actually undergoing cancer treatment? Is there anything you want to tell them? Is there anything you want to convey to them from your experiences?
One thing which I really want to tell everybody is that cancer is a temporary experience,
So
and
true.
now the medical science has progressed so much, and doctors are doing such amazing work in India that you will get through it. The cancer will leave you, but you have to leave cancer.
Oh, wonderful.
Most of the time we just hold
Cling
on to
on.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, just knowing that it is an experience which has come in your life and it'll go. Most of the time we just assume that something has got, now it is forever. No, it is not forever. And it is so much in your hands. The doctors are working on you and they're working with the
Absolutely.
best hands that they have, but you have to put in your bit. And I'm so sure even stage 4 cancer, which is a little difficult maybe, but it is possible to come out of it totally.
Ruby, a lot of us, and you've raised such an important issue, that a lot of us oncologists today have patients in stage 4 who are living for 6, 8, 10, 12 years, and they're
Absolutely.
leading a decent quality of life. They're able to enjoy grandchildren. They're able to enjoy weddings in the family. They're able to travel. In fact, I have a lady who's taking her tablets with her and going off to the US for 3 months. She has stage 4 breast cancer, but she's so well controlled that she's going to kind of enjoy herself and lead a normal life. So the message out there is really not to give up, really to take it with, yes, it's a shocker, yes, it's not a great thing, but it's one of the turbulences you're going to face in your life. And like Ruby said, it will come and it will pass away. So you need to have that positivity to fight it, and of course good doctors and a good team and access to all the treatments that you can find. So, Ruby, let's switch gears. You went through this treatment, you came out stronger, from what I understand. How was the first 2 years after treatment, that first phase of survivorship? Did you immediately start working on your NGO, or what is it that you focused on? Your health? What did you focus on?
So, Shona, to be very frank, after I finished my treatment, I was extremely confused
All right.
because, there was so much of focus on me when I was going through the treatment.
Yes.
The
Yes.
doctors were advising me something, and my family and friends
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
whoever,
Yeah.
yeah, as if I was the center of attraction. And as soon as the treatment finishes, you just left so alone. And I went to the doctor, and I was so less into medicine that I hardly knew anything. So I asked the doctor, what medicine will I have to take to not get this again, not
Yes.
to have the
As a
recurrence?
preventive. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And he told me there is no medicine for that. So you have to come for your follow ups so that if there is something, it can be detected early because it is easier to then treat. But there is no medicine to kind of check
Prevent.
your,
Mm.
prevent your recurrence. And, that day I understood that becoming cancer free is one thing, and remaining cancer free is another.
Another thing. Brilliant. Yes. Well,
Yeah.
well said.
So
Yes.
becoming cancer free, the whole of medical fraternity, the doctors, and all the amazing, people in the field of medical care are with you. But when your treatment has finished and now the survivorship starts, you have to own up the whole responsibility of
Yourself.
your own
Mm.
health. You
Mm.
have to understand as to what happened in your whole biochemistry and then work on it.
Mm.
So initial 2 years were very confusing because I was trying to figure out, first let me know the cause of my
Did you
cancer,
have any
only then.
lasting effects of treatment? Toxicities like, tingling, numbness in the legs, or bone pains, or you must have gone into, did you go into menopause at that time after your chemotherapy?
Immediately,
Yeah.
immediately
So that
after the
must have been,
first.
that must have been tough at 45 or 46 to face a menopause just brought
uh,
on suddenly by chemotherapy.
Personally speaking, my chums used to be so painful. So one good thing which came
Ah,
out of
okay.
the chemotherapy, that my
Yeah, that
period
it
stopped.
stopped. Okay.
Yeah, but yes, my hand from which the nodes have
Yes,
been taken out, it is
yes,
still numb, and I used to have body pain,
yes.
and I had to build this fortitude. So I'm much into water sports and swimming, and I
Super.
remember the first time when I went for a swim, and I did two lengths of the pool, and I thought I'm done because I was like
You were
breathing so,
fatigued. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so fatigued. And I went home, and next day when I came, I thought I've read, I've studied so much that none of the cells in my body are permanent. They die, and then they regenerate. And so why should there be a permanent impact? There can't be a permanent impact. And if there is a permanent impact, it is coming from here and not so much, from the body. And I decided that I will do 40 lens, Shona, the next day. And I did 42 lens.
Super.
And it
Bravo.
gave me
Great.
so much of confidence
Yes.
that it is me who has to now think differently.
No, I'm so glad you've raised such an important part that everybody is there with you, family, friends, and doctors while you're being treated. But once you enter that phase of survivorship, everybody thinks you're cured. So they
Yeah.
kind of leave you to your own resources. So
Yeah.
building a survivorship program is so important. And you've highlighted what we tell all our patients: exercise, exercise, and exercise, because that we know there is data that it actually does prevent recurrence. And patients who are overweight, for every 5 kilos of weight that they lose, they bring down their recurrence chances by almost 10%. So there is data for this. So if women can get physically active, start eating right, this is a wake-up call, don't you think? Change your lifestyle and take care and take onus of your own health in your own hands. So
Totally,
yeah,
totally.
yeah. So
Yes,
it's like take
absolutely.
back the control of your disease, and you can actually prevent it, which is what you
Yes,
did.
yes.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about, and what's fantastic, Ruby, is that your arm doesn't look swollen at all. So did it
Yeah.
swell up after the surgery? Did you have to work a lot on it to get it down?
No, so I was suggested a few exercises
Right,
by Mamta Goenka, who
right,
volunteers in Tata Hospital,
right, of
and
course.
yeah, and does amazing work. And I immediately started doing those exercises. But
Okay.
frankly, I didn't know too much about lymphedema and all.
Yes,
And then I started my normal life very soon. So I started my swimming. In any case, my walks I continued. I am heavily into yoga and pranayam, so that I started.
helped
And
you a
whatever.
lot.
Yes, yes, yes. So I started feeling normal very soon. So I did not remain in that victim mode.
I
You
think
know,
that's also a very important message for the viewers out there. Don't victimize yourself. You are not a victim. You are a survivor. You know, you've got
yes.
to be have that attitude. So coming to our last question, Ruby, we're so impressed with Sanjeevani. Tell us a little bit about your organization, what you do. I've read a lot about it. It's a beautiful name, I must say. So just tell us, what was the inspiration, probably your disease, I know, but what does it really do now for society?
So, Shona, when I was going through the treatment, I would see a lot of these patients in Tata Hospital who come from a very different background. And what I thought to myself, that a journey, the experience, which is becoming so difficult for me, so difficult that frankly I went to my balcony twice. An experience which is becoming so difficult for me with all the resources that I have.
Mm-hmm.
How do these people, probably without none of the resources that I have,
Exactly.
how do they go through it? What is their experience? And I wanted to work for them. And as soon as my treatment started, I started telling my doctors about it, and they used to joke कि अभी स्टेज 3 में हो, पहले तुम जिंदा बच जाओ फिर कुछ करना, that kind of a thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it kind of took me 3 years to figure out as to what I wanted to do, because I was working almost 24 hours, had a
Sure,
family, young
sure.
children. So I wanted to do something only if I am bridging some gap. I didn't want to start an organization just for the heck of it, because it would have been difficult for me to, carve out time to do this. And finally, what Sanjeevani does now, and we started with the first project, which is called Cancer Yogi, in which we work in the OPDs of the government cancer hospitals.
Wonderful. Okay.
We work only in government cancer hospitals because we wanted to work with underprivileged cancer patients. And we have our people, trained people in the OPDs to navigate the whole treatment of the patients inside the hospital and
So
outside the
important.
hospital.
Yeah.
Help them get the government funding through various
Gee.
schemes, look at their accommodation problems, help people deal with the side effects of the treatment better, and their emotional trauma. So this is called Cancer Yogi, and through this we work now in 20 cities of the country. So this is one project, and we have worked with more than 5 lakh patients through this project. And after doing this for 3 years, we did an impact study with Nirmala Niketan College of Social Work. What came out that everybody, and we took a sample size which was 450, which was huge, that everybody wanted this help, but for 75% of the patients, this was the primary need that they had.
Yeah.
So this is one project that we run. The second project that we run is we work on the immunity of cancer patients through food, breath, and mental constructs. So we run 12-day batches. Right now it's happening virtually. on a back-to-back basis called Satori. A lot of research we've done. It has gone for international conferences, and
Nice.
the third project that we run is we train cancer survivors and their
Right.
relatives
Right.
to become professional cancer caregivers.
Right.
And Can Sarthi. And the fourth program we run is called Can Chetna, which is to create awareness on how to reduce the probability of having cancer in our life.
Yeah.
When we do
Like
it
a
in
prevention
colleges.
thing. So nice. So nice.
Prevention. And the fifth program that we run is called Canahar, where we give natural supplements to the poorest of the cancer patients to increase their hemoglobin, their platelet count,
Yes,
and to deal
yes.
with the side effects of the. So this is what we do in Sanjeevani, and today we are working in 20 cities of 12 states. And in the next 3 years, I want to be working in at least one city of every state.
How lovely.
That is how, I'm trying, and God willing. And also, see, Shona, this is not something which you do alone.
No, there has to be cooperation and collaboration. Yes,
there are so many collaborations. There are
Yes.
so many wonderful people who have come together to make this happen. And I just pray to God that these wonderful people.
I'm sure your legacy is going to go on. So Ruby, this has been an absolutely wonderful half an hour. And let me tell you, I've learned a lot because, for the first time, I'm interviewing somebody rather than they interview me. And to look at your perspective has been really enriching. And you are not only lucky, you are blessed, and you are doing such fantastic work. So I'm really humbled to meet you. And I hope our viewers enjoyed the session today as much as I did talking to Ruby. And just to give you a positive message out there, everyone, take your treatments, listen to your doctors, but more than anything, have a positive attitude. This thing will go away and you will beat this disease and come out a winner. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma.
Thank you.